This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality bikes, which might lead to another discovery. Getting back on the saddle isn't always comfortable. Good news is Sierra has massage guns. And chafe wipes, too. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, right here on the Eagles Pinpool Network, bringing you all the news, notes, and opinions on your Philadelphia Eagles. I'm your guest host, Shane Half, pinch hitting one last time for Phil, who will be back next week. And today I want to talk about what games matter in the NFC for the Eagles this weekend, because the Eagles game certainly doesn't, and they're going to be resting a lot of starters in this game. And so we turn our attention to playoff matchups. And the Eagles are locked into the 2 seed, as most of you know, and which means they will be playing the 7 seed. And there's only 2 potential opponents for the Eagles on Wild Card Weekend: the Green Bay Packers or the Washington Commanders. Now, the Eagles have beaten both of these teams this year. Way back in Week 1 on a Thursday night game, Friday night game, whatever night it was, in Brazil, the Eagles topped the Packers 34-29. And then the Eagles beat Washington in Week 11 on Thursday night, 26-18. And we all know they lost in Week 16 with Jalen Hurts knocked out of the game in the first quarter. So let's get into the scenarios first. If both teams, the Packers host the Bears this weekend, Washington travels to Dallas. I think both of these teams will be trying to win their games because if they win, it opens up the possibility for them to be the 6th seed, in which case they would play the Los Angeles Rams versus the 7 seed playing the Eagles. And I would assume both teams would rather match up with the Rams. If both teams win, or if both teams lose, the Packers would be the 7 seed. And it means they would travel to Philadelphia and play the Eagles. The scenario for the Commanders to be the 7 seed is if the Packers beat the Bears and the Commanders lose on the road in Dallas, the Packers would jump to the 6th seed, the Commanders would drop to the 7th seed. And so the question is, which team would you rather face? Now, I don't think the Eagles should be scared of either of these teams. I don't think the Eagles should be scared of anybody. I think the Eagles should be a favorite to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. But the path matters, and you would always rather face the easiest path possible to get there. And so if you look at these teams, I think it's pretty clear that you would rather face the Commanders. And you can just step through the positions. At quarterback, you've got Jaden Daniels versus Jordan Love. And Jaden Daniels is coming off of one of the better rookie quarterback seasons that we've seen. And Jordan Love is a good quarterback, but I don't think he is special in the way that Jaden Daniels has been this season. Now, that's not discounting Jordan Love. I think he's a very good quarterback, but Jaden Daniels, especially his mobility, and we saw him with a career-high rushing attempts last week in Week 16. I think they feed into that more in the playoffs. You play with a little more reckless abandon, and so I don't think you want to face Jaden Daniels, especially given the Eagles' struggles with mobile quarterbacks. Lamar and Jaden Daniels, and the last 2 mobile quarterbacks they face have both rushed for over, I think it was like 80 and 97 yards against them. And so the Commanders have the edge at quarterback. But everywhere else on the offense, I think it goes to the Packers. The Packers' running backs are better. They have Josh Jacobs. Their wide receiver trio is better. I think their offensive line is better. And I think their coaching is better. Cliff Kingsbury has faded throughout the years, and Washington had a little bit of a downturn, and they've bounced back, but I would much rather face a Cliff Kingsbury offense than a Matt LaFleur offense in the playoffs. And then on the defensive side of the ball, up front, I think you probably prefer Washington's personnel grouping. They've got some good linebackers, albeit some dirty ones, and Frankie Louvu. Bobby Wagner has played better this season than I expected, and they've got big guys up front and Daron Payne, and they've given the Eagles some trouble in the rushing attack in the past, but the secondary is all Packers. Xavier McKinney is a dangerous player in their secondary, and they've got some other dangerous players as well. And so I would maybe call the defense a bit more of a wash than the offense, but I think offense definitely favors the Packers, and DVOA rankings support this. If you look at DVOA rankings, which tries to normalize your output compared to average or expectation, so it is opponent adjusted in a way that EPA is not. Green Bay is 4th in overall DVOA this year. Washington is 8th. Green Bay is 4th in offensive DVOA. Washington is 7th. And then you look at defense, and this one surprised me a bit. Green Bay is 5th in defensive DVOA, and Washington is down at 21st. And I didn't think that Green Bay's defensive DVOA would be quite that good, but it is. And then you can layer playoff experience on top of that. Washington hasn't been good in forever. The Packers blew out the Cowboys in Wild Card Weekend last year, and then they almost knocked off the 49ers en route to an NFC Championship game appearance. And so experience is on the side of the Packers. I think coaching expertise is on the side of the Packers. I think they have nearly every advantage when you compare these rosters except for the quarterback and probably the linebackers. And so to me, the answer is clear. I would rather face Washington. And yes, it's facing a divisional opponent. It's playing a team for the third time, and they know your stuff, but you know their stuff too. And it is a rookie quarterback. Would be his first playoff start. I think it's clear that Eagles fans should be rooting for a Packers win and a Commanders loss this weekend to set up a rematch with the Commanders, a revenge game for Jalen Hurts in the first round of the playoffs. So that's my thoughts on who the Eagles' ideal matchup is in the first round. You guys can sound off on Twitter. Let me know what you think. Who do you want to see the Eagles take down in the first round of the playoffs? The Commanders? The Packers? Does it even matter to you? Sound off and let me know. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Checkdown. You guys have a great day. Have a great weekend. And go Birds.